Yeah, buddy.
Hey, hey.
Okay, cool.
Now we're on the spot recording. Yeah, man.
Now we know. Now this thing, just so you know, we're gonna take this video, and they're gonna give you a download option, and that download option, when you send it to me, even you too, you'll be able to edit front and back if necessary. So, since you got limited time, ask me 3 questions, then, if that works.
All right. All right. So first of all, you know that I've been trying to get an interview for quite a few years. And instead of going over all the semantics of when you started, and stuff like that, because of course I know that the story, and that's questions that you've answered like crazy. So 3 things that I've always wanted to ask. One was, what don't people know about you?
Well, I think one of the things that they didn't know about me until recently is that I'm sensitive when it comes to people dying, man. Like, if you remember when my brother passed away, it took me a long time.
Yeah.
And I know people have had that experience a bunch of times, but I had been very lucky, unfortunately. So when I see other people go through the same things, especially after my brother, it hits me, man. So even before that, there was a time where I got off of Facebook for 8 months. 8 months, man. Now, of course, I was in the middle of a whole bunch of things like the beach challenges and, transitions of my life, as you know. But why did I do that? I got tired of saying my condolences, man. I mean, this year we lost just 2 people, Little K.A., and I saw Steve Nasty Anderson for the last time at Little K's memorial, and just a matter of days after he passed away. So, being a regular human, because people sometimes think we're not freaking humans, I'm sensitive to people who's passing away. And now that's why I think about their children, the grandchildren that they'll never get a chance to meet, because death creates such a void in people's lives, man, that it's something that we never forget about. We just adjust ourselves to it. I miss my brother every freaking day, man. And I'm in the same room we grew up together. He was my baby brother, so chronologically, it's like, hey, man, you skipped the line, Yeah. I wasn't supposed to do that. But so I think that might be a surprise with some people, because they don't think that when the people see you on stage and you're in the character, whether as a fighter or an instructor, they don't think that you go through the regular trials and tribulations that other people go through. So that might be surprising to some.
Another question was, what do you find wrong with the arts today?
Well, the arts, the martial arts today, and it depends on where, you're talking. Because you have millennials that own martial arts schools now. And their mindset's completely different. You got people that don't even know that it wasn't normal to do meetings like this. Interviews would have been in the same location. It's an example, right? So moving forward, you have the old school, the ancient school, the new school, and the next school. So a teenager is the next school. The new school is the 20-somethings. 30, 40-somethings, you're already old, which is crazy. You're the old school. You're the old school.
Now, as a follow-up to just that question alone, what do you say about a lot of the old school guys that think that changing anything as far as business is concerned is a sellout? Because, you have a lot of guys that say quantity and,
Quality.
Yeah. They rather have quality than quantity. I'd rather have 10 great students than 100 students that pay the bills and stuff like that. Because I know when people see a school with 100 students and they think McDojo, they think Black Belt Factory, they think, stuff of that sort. Even these quality martial arts schools that are just producing, or they have multiple locations, you still have that stigma behind it that says, well, they're selling out, or they're commercializing, or they're going Hollywood. It almost seems to be like some of the old school guys are just part of that whole, that dark dungeon dojo with 5 students in it and bleeding and pain and suffering and stuff like that, that as soon as you start putting the students into a fun environment where it's fun, it's kind of like falling off the traditions and it's becoming like selling out or McDojo-ish. Well,
So that was one of the things that I really had to contemplate, because I kept hearing those lies. What I mean by that, you ever notice that fat people always tell you about nutrition?
Yeah.
And broke people are going to tell you about finances? What business do they have? What authority do they have? I'm making a judgment. So my question was, wait a second. You mean to tell me that if I have a lot of students, they won't be good? And I looked at them, I'm like, but you got 10 students and they all suck to me except for those 2. So 80-20 rule applies here too. I didn't make this up. So I went with the mindset of the 80-20. Let's just say that 80% of the people are just happy to be there. And only 20% are going to be the ones that are the real deal. You know, if you have 10 students, there's 2 of them that can beat the other 8. Your right hand and your left hand, and they compete back and forth themselves. That's always been the case in most places that I've noticed. So I said, I want to have 200 competitors. You know what that meant? Imagine rolling with an army with 200 people to a tournament and ransacking we did that at least twice. And of course, we won grand championship in just about every weight division in black belt man too. So how did that happen? How was it that the Fontanez karate at the time, martial art operation, did not lose that quality? That question comes up a lot. And if they say, nah, man, Jerry just had 10 students, they were the bomb. But once he got, 1,000, we could run through them. Nah, man, when they came to my school and they sparred, we have an underbelt ring over there. They have the late night sparring and the black belt ring. And you would not believe that rated competitors started over there. And you know what happened? They got beat over there. Not because my students were better. They knew things that the other people just did not know. So that's all based on curriculum that works or doesn't work. You ever notice that some schools that all they do is produce really good forms guys?
Yeah.
There's never a fighter. And if they have a fighter, the kid already came with a fighting attitude. So it wasn't like you taught them that. You just gave them some more options of how to fight. So I do not believe Mek Dojo to me means they know how to market. Mek is market. And if you suck at marketing, you can get mad and run to you. You tell me, you think any of those guys are happy? They can't make ends meet. They got a regular job. They teach karate, and then they do security as a side gig in the club. So what kind of relationship can you have at home? They're on their 4th marriage and they never got married, but they're always their wife. Yeah, 9 out of 10 times, their so-called wife is a student or a parent. In my experience, I didn't want to be like that. I want to be the professional.
Now, just kind of staying in that realm a little bit. What do you think about the black belts, the 10-year-old black belts, 12-year-old black belts? Because it seems to be that when you have a student that comes in at 4 or 5 years old, and they've been with you for 5 years, they work your curriculum, they put in that work, and they kind of meet the criteria, the format of what would be a black belt. Now we know that we can't put them in the same, I'm not saying level, but we don't look at them the same as we do with adults. But it seems to be that you have, especially a lot of the old school guys, as soon as they start seeing the 12 and 13-year-old black belts, they shun upon it. And I go, well, if this student started at 3 or 4 years old and they got 7 years in, and they've been training 3-4 days a week, an hour and a half a day, and dedicated themselves to it. And the only reason why I asked that is because that's what happened to my siblings and I. We started very young, and so after putting 5 or 6 years, 7 years in, our techniques, our forms, our fighting in the division, of course, being children, we were able to fight the black belts at yellow belt, green belt, blue belt, our level, but my father, and I think we spoke about this one before, would never let us examine for our showdown until we turned 18. So by the time we were 18, we already had 14 years in, and and we were killing it from 18 to 25, 26 years old. And when ranks started coming down, you know, whether it's first dan, second, third, fourth dan, stuff like that, then you started having the old school guys. Well, how are you a 5-year-old fourth or Renchi? And you're like, I've been doing this for the last 20 years. But you have the adult that started 10 years ago, and they walk in at 25 years old. Now they're 35, you know, or 40, and they hold a Renchi. And now you're getting compared to the person who's 50, and me being 40, and I go, wait, I put 20, you know, at 40 I put 36 years in, and at 50 you only put 15 years in. And because you learned as an adult, and I learned as from a child into adulthood. But my question ultimately was, when people saw your black belt, your younger black belts, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old black belts, especially in New York, because I think there's more grandmasters in New York and New Jersey than there are all of Asia, that everybody holds those titles so secure that, God forbid, somebody else, you know, shines in any way. Right away, they're ready to ridicule you having 20, 30 black belts in your school. Why I ask that is because it seems to be that the old school guys, and I understand that, you know, the old school guys believe that it should take a lifetime to earn your shodan. But when you have 20 black belts in your school right away, people are, well, they're a black belt factory. They're giving away their black belt. I mean, and anyone that I've ever seen that came out of your system match the techniques, match the forms, match the attitude, regardless of what age they were. You know, I seen you hold classes with 10-year-old, 11-year-old black belts in classes with 30-year-old black belts, and stand side by side and still running through a full adult class as if it was nothing. But that was one of my biggest things, is, of course, especially when people see that, you know, I understand that there are dojos out there that, and it's not to shun anybody, but it seemed to be more into the direction of the Taekwondo schools, where you have 50 black belts, and between the ages of 5 and whatever, and they'll come in, and maybe their techniques may not match it, but it seems like that black belt, you know, assembly line. How did you handle that, especially in New York?
Well, a few things. So, of course, I come from the hip hop culture too, right? And all of a sudden, b-boying is going to the Olympics. Have you ever seen those young kids break?
Yeah.
Who could they take out?
Adults. Yeah, they're on point.
They could take out legends of yesteryear with the basics, the footwork, the power moves. So the age thing is really just a number. When I have a 2-year-old that says he wants to do martial arts, how many people are going to teach them? Not that many. A 4-year-old, how many of those traditionalists said, no, you can't come to my school unless you're a teenager, or 8-year-old, you know, or whatever the case may be. So, but I did have what was considered junior black belts, and the curriculum was similar but different. And it said it on the belt. But in terms of skill set, someone's physical skills depends on 2 things. One, the instructor's ability to be able to teach. 2, the desire of that and the work ethic of that child. 30-year-old child, they come in as the same thing, you know, people. So the reason why people could turn around and just judge is they going on tradition. It took us, bro, how many years did it take if they got that black belt in Okinawa and they were there on one tour? 6 months, 9 months, 10 months? It does not add up. Now they'll say, well, we trained every day. 9 out of 10 of these people are straight up lying. You know why? Have you ever seen them demonstrate?
Yeah.
You ever impressed too much by them?
No. And the thing is, and it's not, and I wouldn't, and of course I would never, you know, if anything I could say, I do hold myself, I put myself on a pedestal for is that I show respect to those who've done it first. I get that.
If they done it.
And I'm saying,
Let's go to the videotape.
Yeah, I'm saying that, and we call them legends and grandmasters and founders and pioneers, but Chuck Norris came out and said that he got his black belt in under a year. Mike Stone said he got his black belt in under a year. Yeah, they said they got their black belts under a year, and then I says, even if
but realistically, they were training 7 days a week. So if someone trains 2 times a week or 3 times a week, and they train 7 days a week, and maybe multiple hours. So chronologically, if you really add it up, it might have been the equivalent because it was condensed, possibly. And I'm not saying that it was, possibly. But what I can say is that those people in particular you just mentioned, they were the exception, and they kicked a lot of butt. So
we'll see. The reason why I say that is because when the guys did come back from war or whatever, and they showed and proved that they, and a lot of them do better techniques than you've seen the traditionalists throw. I mean, if you ever seen it, it's not to down anybody's grandmaster, but if you've seen any of the grandmasters from Okinawa or Japan, and you match them against American martial artists, the Joe Lewis's, the Michael Stones and stuff like that, you go, no, we made it better. You know, you may have created it, but it seemed like we made it better.
Some of the things, no question. But it comes down to this. Originally, I'm not referencing right back to B-Boy. There was only 2 groups that were doing it initially, so you thought. And there were blacks and Latino. But now that Russian kid that's 10 years old has as much flavor as anybody. You've seen them breaking.
Yeah, I was looking at
included. It doesn't matter. Now worldwide, this culture has transcended and spread everywhere. That's what happens with martial arts, but this is the difference. And this is where it's a little embarrassing to me. The standards of martial arts has dissipated according to the instructors for years. When we looked at a select group of people, we used to say, oh yeah, that's the forms guys. Oh yeah, they're gonna do weapons. We never saw them fight. And then other people say, well, martial arts is not about fighting. I said, I don't know about you, but I didn't join for freaking forms. You know, I didn't join for forms because I lived in the Bronx, and I still do. So in these guys' case, you know, they want to protect their position until you start testing it. So I got this award years ago, and I was like, I didn't think I was supposed to be there because to me, it looked like I wasn't, not worthy, but technically speaking, I didn't think I was old enough. I was probably the youngest person. And there was the Joe Louis Eternal Warrior Award. And that bugged me out because I was saying, wait a second. I consider these guys the real legends, as I call them, because they preceded me in sports, and I looked up to them. And then someone said to me, you don't think you deserve to be here? I said, well, I'm just saying that, you know, he said, well, that guy, how long he competed for? Less than 10 years. How long ago? 50 years ago. And that guy, probably a little longer. So if you combine the point karate and the kickboxing, they didn't even do 20 years. And they said, how about you? When you started competing in black belt men and placing, 1982, how old are you, 16? When was the last time? I said, I'm not finished. And tomorrow will be the next time. They inducted me into that thing in 2013. They started in 2012. And I was one of the first inductees. Now, these people years after didn't even realize I was there before them, because I personally always believe that you want to lead by example, and you have to document it, because people either have selective memories or they just straight up lies. A lot of the people that I have a very good memory, and if not, I can always reference a few things here and there. A lot of people just believe their own lies. They believe their own lies.
I know my brother
posted other people that have the same selective memory, and they started lying. If you say the lie long enough, you believe it's true. For example, what's us? Why the heck are these kung fu people saying us for? Or Taekwondo style? I never said us in my life when I trained in martial arts, ever. Because when we bowed, we say Taekwondo. And the first style of kung fu, we just bowed. We didn't say anything. Yes, years after, when I trained in Okinawa and Shindaru, with Jonas Nunez, Tommy Chan, and Freddie Lopez. They were saying us, but I never did. I never did. You know why? I'll tell you why. I knew that Okinawans invented karate, and it means the China hand. Just because the Japanese changed it to the way the open hand doesn't mean that it's right. And I referenced that to hip hop. Just because they sell more records from the South or the West Coast, that means hip hop didn't start in the Bronx. Come on, man, you got to give credit where it's due. And it's due in Okinawa. Guess what they say when they bound Okinawa to this very day?
Nothing.
Exactly. So people drink the Kool-Aid with good intentions, or they say that style is Chinese, and why are you saying Uztan? I'm confused. And I get it. It's become the universal language of I'm down with martial arts. It's respect. No, 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 no. It doesn't mean that. It's the opposite. What it really means is more like, what? In your face. Because the person that perpetrated the us was a Korean guy that made up the most popular Japanese style. How could that be? Korean guy. He was adopted by the Japanese. And he wanted to make sure that he made these Japanese show them off. All you guys, we're gonna have a tournament, and we're gonna have all the styles in there, Chinese, so on and so on, and we're gonna beat all you guys. And when they did, you know what they said? They went, it's like in your face. But people don't know that. So now again, my point is that sometimes a rumor gets spread so wide that people actually start to believe that it's true. If you say a lie enough times, then Jesus might have blue eyes and blonde hair.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's all based on standards, man. It's all based on standards. My students, where I was making 5 figures a month, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with taking care of my family with something that I'm passionate about that actually helps people make better decisions? If you've been to my school and you have, winners never quit, quitters never win, I choose to be a winner. I must develop myself in a positive manner, right? Positive, every day and every week I get better and better. So that's success condition, that's leadership. I learned that not from the martial arts, but from non-martial arts true leaders. A lot of the martial artists were being trained by people who were alcoholics that came from the military. They talk about the good old fights in the bar. What the heck does that have to do with martial arts, you know? It wasn't about values, it was about war. And I get it, it's war arts. But once you start teaching children the war arts, then you have to change your curriculum. You have to change your approach. So the reason why my students were able to become what I consider proficient in their skill set, regardless of age, was because they were painting by numbers. As you know, my students learn at white belt what I teach at seminars that people pay quite a bit of money for. Because for me, that footwork is the key. I don't know how to fight, but if they can't touch me, that's a good start at least. Yeah.
Because we learn how to walk before we run.
And my kicks start from the floor, as you know. I don't have to tell you. I'm getting ready to do a how-to video to try to help people get fast feet for life, you know. And the whole workout that I'm going to train tomorrow is laying in bed. Imagine, I mean, how lazy can you be? I'm doing like 100 kick lay down workouts and abs from bed. And people ask me, how do you do that? I say, you know what? It's better for me to show you than tell you, because that's my reputation. I've been known as a person who talks it out of crap, and then they go, but he backs it up. Or I'm also been known as a person that says, wait a second, how come he has all those videos beating all those people who said that they beat him? Let's go to the videotape, maybe.
I mean, when I was well, and obviously I want to be able to do multiple interviews with you and have definitely more questions. We have time, but I know that's one of the first things you told me when we met. He's like, if you don't document it, didn't happen. And my brother does the same thing. He says, people always wondered why years ago, and even inside the dojo, we would set up a camera, and then when we sparred, people got the wrong impression. They thought it was like we were trying to clown them, like get video of fighting somebody or beating somebody up. But he said, no, it was always being able to document it and prove, like, no, this is what happened. These were the people who were present at the time. And a lot of times, especially with competition, we videotape tournaments because we thought about it the same way football players did with theirs. You looked at your fight video and you saw your mistakes. And I'm sure boxing does the same thing, and basketball does the same thing. Where did I make a mistake? Even if you won, you looked at it and said, well, where can I improve better? And so we kept a lot of those videos. A lot of the videos, the VHSs back then got destroyed during a flood, but the ones that we did salvage, we were able to look back on it. I think the oldest video we could find is like 15 or 17 years old. It was done in Fort Monmouth military base in Eatontown. And it was old school versus, well, the young guys versus the old guys. So me, my brother, and like 2 or 3 other young guys, and they actually put Ruby Camacho on our team as a young guy because we competed against older guys. I can't remember. There was a kung fu guy. I don't remember his name. A couple other guys, and then Grandmaster Floyd against Ruby. So me and my brother fought. He got swept by this kung fu guy. Yeah, it was. So I wound up breaking my ankle like 6 months prior to that. So I re-injured my ankle, so I was out of commission. Jay got beat. It was a great match, but he got beat. But the tiebreaker ultimately was between Ruby and Floyd. So at the time, your ex-wife was there with students.
This is before or after the riot?
This was the day of the riot.
Oh.
Yeah, so she was there with students, and Ruby officially beat Floyd. And Floyd's students showed up that day with masks on. They were like,
and the same thing that happened in Elizabeth High School, where people didn't like the fact that the outcome wasn't what they wanted, and they started some havoc.
Well, and when they showed up, like I said, we've always had a great relationship with the university. I think we always will. So it would definitely never be any of that. But it was at the time they knew the intimidating factor. They showed up with the mask on, the painted mask, and we were on the stage, and he did it the same way. It was the underbelts were all off the stage. On the stage was the black belts. And we were brand new black belts, 18 years old. But long story short, Ruby beat him, and it just blew up, exploded. So people are running on, different places, just getting out of there. And I remember Fort Monmouth military police showed up, and they rushed everybody out of there. And Ruby got upset. He broke his trophy out in the parking lot. It was just havoc. But I remember as a young black belt going like, yeah, losing sucks. I used to say what was worse than losing is the drive home from the tournament. That used to be worse than losing itself. Is to think about all the mistakes you made, and there was no way to fix it, and put your head down. Of course, my father never gave us a break, so we heard it from the whole trip all the way back to the dojo of what we did wrong. But to see our seniors and the guys that we looked up to, Ruby
Have you ever seen me do that?
I'll get
Have you ever seen me compete, not get a point, get upset? What do?
Oh no, you just
hit him again.
Again, yeah. I
hit him again. Eventually, they have to give a point.
The thing is I used to think, and I think that used to upset me when I was younger, was because I knew that form divisions were based on the opinion of the judges, so that could sway in any direction. But fighting, I used to think, was just ultimate. Like if I hit this person first, I got the point. If it was
you know that the only way that can happen is if there was 2 things, honor and respect. Have you ever noticed that if I'm sparring, I go like this to someone, like, yeah, you got me, I give them the props, but I'm not gonna give them a point if they didn't hit me. So the mindset is different. Martial arts is not fighting. There's rules. So if you put a lot of emphasis on winning and losing, you're always gonna lose. It's about improvement. And Kendo, if you score on me, I bow to you for showing me a weakness in my technique. And now I have learned. So I believe that. See, I'm the corny guy. Yeah, I said it. I'm the corny guy that believes honor and respect is the values. Speed and power is my intentions. And that's why I put that as a sniper. It's not sniper anymore. Sniper fighting in forms. Honor, respect, speed, and power. My point is that I competed in tournaments that gave away money. Chances are that tournament had no money, but people were fighting for medals and ego. When Billy Blank broke my jaw, people thought I was like my nemesis. I was wearing his patch the day before. Why did I get my jaw broken? I blocked in my face. Can I get mad at him? How can I get mad at him? I was trying to knock him out. Maybe that's why I got hit, because I knocked out a guy the night before, and Billy got knocked out twice that year. And I'm thinking, it'd be kind of cool if I knock him out. Oh, man, bad intentions, and karma hit me instantly, you know? But it's the mindset. If I see my students not win, do you know what I had to do? Damage control. Next time. But if your school doesn't have that mindset, next time it makes it seem like this is the only time my life has ended and I embarrassed. No, man. Parents would say things to a student like, man, I can't believe. I said, oh, excuse me. Ma'am, sir, with all due respect, they're your child, but didn't you hire me as an instructor? Yeah, so then let me do my work. Do you think he wanted to get kicked in the face to make you mad? Is that the reason you think? And I'm sorry to tell you, that's not ever what anyone who's competing ever wants to do. They'll be like, oh. And I said to the kid, what did you learn? I said, next time, what would you do? Next time, what? You learn from mistakes. You never learn from doing the right thing. It never happened again. And people think, yeah, his jaw. After that, right after that, they're thinking, that's his weak part, his jaw. Yeah, I'm going to close his mouth. Yeah. And then my performance got better and better. I could reference it to the videos. What happened after that was, uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm tired after that.
It's the atmosphere, man.
Well, see, the thing about it is I've been hit.
Unfortunate.
The hardest I've ever been hit were by my friends, were by the people that actually liked me. You know, like the people that I didn't know at tournaments. You know, it was just like fine. But the people I knew that grew up around, those were the ones that wanted to catch me slipping. It was almost like years ago when you played street ball and you took a shot at somebody's face and you're like, yeah, you know, and you're like, oh man, it's that. And they talked about it and everyone busted chops like, oh, you let him get that on you. And you're like, all right.
Magic versus Bird. These guys were buddies, man, but they were nemesis. And their game increased because of that. That's the deal. So check this out. And you got to go to work, so I know that. But let me just say this. I cannot get credit for being the highlight man. I remember back in the 90s, they did a highlight reel from Boston Taekwondo, and that was kind of cool. And I was like, wow, this is so dope. I wish I would have thought of it, but Reggie Perry gets props for that. And in that highlight reel, I saw some of my students, and maybe someone thinking that it was me. I'm like, psh, they put me in the highlight reel. Let it be that I lost at least or got clocked, because very, 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 very few times have you ever seen any videos of me getting clocked. You may score points on me, but let's go to the videotape and see what really happened. I'm just saying as a third person. I might be wrong. However, then another gentleman started doing the highlight reel, and I was in there. I'm like, what? I'm in the highlight reel? You okay?
Yeah, sometimes you get gunshots around here.
Gotcha. Well, that's from the Bronx over here. You heard it. Yeah, that's the echo from here.
I know that you were just shooting earlier about 4 blocks over.
Gotcha. So anyway, so I was not the first guy to do highlights, but I was in other people's highlights, and I was like, but your hand was open and you hit me in the shoulder. How are you going to put that as a highlight? So then I said, you know what? I'm going to do a highlight reel. And I started accumulating some of those old videos. I'm saying, let me edit them. Now, if you notice, now for the instructors training for sniper fighters, I'm doing explanation of what I'm doing. And I think that's going to change the game, because it's going to teach people how to do stuff.
I think I know you. I might know your answer to this, but what does the guys that when you put up your videos, highlight reels, what does your opponents that were obviously watching this, what do they say? I'm guessing they don't.
I never put their name.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I understand that some people get offended by it, and because ego is a big issue. I'll give you a prime example, and very few people know this. I didn't compete. It was like a 5-year window, and that's not an excuse. And I'm not going to use an excuse I just as a
Me too. I
option
didn't
because,
for 5 years. You
but
know
the person who beat me is an awesome fighter. So I would not take it away from that. But let's just say I went 5 years, didn't compete. Maybe local tournament, my father's tournament, whatever. And there was a tournament I went out to, and I won the first round. In the second round, I was fighting against no other than Torres, awesome fighter. And I'll be honest with you, man, he brought me to school. He swept me. He caught me. It came to the point that I was so upset about it that I was putting my arm up just to let him score, just to get the match over with, to say, all right, And I remember my father got mad. He like smacked me in my head in the middle of the ring, like, what the hell are you doing? Just letting him hit you. And I remember like how upset I was that I wasn't fast. I don't even think I scored. Maybe if I scored one. And I remember him from, obviously remember him from years ago with Master Fuquan Ali and Master Floyd and that area. He had a video.
It was Kincaid.
Yeah, so he had a video, and he had a video up of that, and I'm sure he still has the video, and it was bad. I mean, probably the most embarrassing thing this night, and we became cool, seeing each other out there. Obviously, we're real, cool with Robert, and he removed it. From my line, and I don't know if it was just to say, okay, listen, man, I don't want to, embarrass you. And I wasn't really bothered by it because I was like, damn, man, it was a horrific.
Was your jaw broken?
No.
Was your name on the floor? Did you spell your name wrong? Did they sell it? Used to be Blockbuster Video. Does it really matter? Did you ever hide about it? That you have your crooked teeth because of it?
No.
Now, so this is my point. It's part of history, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. I believe that the truth is the truth is the truth. People sometimes get mad at me because I come out and I show truth. Yo, man, I can't believe you put that video with your hair all crazy. And other people are like, yo, man, I respect you because you kept it real. And I'm like,
But see, you even put that video up of you getting your jaw broken.
Yeah, of course. But I wish we had the whole fight.
You see the first couple points where you stop in the air and
no. Listen, that's not the fight at all. The whole fight that I used to have, and I'm trying to find it. I used to limit the people and they hide it. The whole fight that's just a highlight reel. By the way, when I throw the axe chicken at 4, people say, "Oh, you kicked him." No, that's not a point. I hit the floor, but the score was officially 5-5. So trust me, a lot of good things happened in that match, and I didn't know it was 5-5. See. My speed was the nullifier to the power. So let's say he's the Hulk, and I'm Spider-Man. And he couldn't catch me. But for me to be officially 5-5, and I'll be honest with you, I might be wrong, but during that time when I did the points as I saw them in slow-mo, so on and so forth, the real deal, I was beating him 8-3. But Billy Blanks will be 5-5. What they showed that was in real time was when I got hit. The technique before that, I wish I had that because I would show you how to stop somebody who's bigger than you because I hit him with a side kick and he's in mid-air. He tried to take me out with a rich hand. I slipped it. I slipped the rich hand. I do my counter hook.
Yeah.
I busted his mouth. The point is that those things happen to everybody, guys. And what I would say to that is next time.
And the thing is like, even though the videos that we put up, Jay and I, with highlight stuff.
I love them.
And
cartwheel kick sweeps. I love them.
And we've told people, we've had people inbox and say, hey, can you remove that video? And I'm like, we've removed videos by saying, all right, the guy's upset. And my father, of course, got on us a few times and said, hey, listen,
All right, so check this out. Not one person of all those video highlights has said a peep. I got legends there. They have the option of putting theirs. Put yours. I'm not gonna cry about it. They put them, and I'm like, wait a second, rewind slow-mo, let's see what happened. You just slap it to the shoulder, you put that as a highlight. That's not a highlight, this is a highlight. Yeah. So if their ego is hurt, as far as I go, so what are we supposed to do? So New York City Breakers versus Rocksteady Crew, Real Deal Battle. What are we supposed to do? Hide that history? MC,
yeah, right.
Busy B. Starsky goes against Kumo D. What they did? Highlight The Bridge is Over. South Bronx versus MC Chan. What was that? They went on tour together.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. And I come from hip hop, and we don't bite in hip hop, and we give props where it's due. And it's just part of the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. And that's the way I believe.
Yeah, the thing is, and that's why I be honest, I've always looked at that like, it's about who is the best of the day, like of the day, but there's a tournament. Tomorrow, next tournament, you may beat me. Next tournament, you may. And listen, and I've been caught. I've had my nose broken. I've had ribs broken. I've had
excuse me. What you think this thing used to be that crooked? Come on, man.
Yeah, and I've told people like.
How about this? You see this here? That's the floor.
Yeah. And I've had my share of getting it too.
Character.
And I think what it is what I've done differently. What I've done differently is that I remember fighting with, like, not anger, but in the late '80s, mainly in the '90s, it was a real fight. When you went in there, you really fought. It was like you were trying to kill each other, especially when we went to the Bronx. I don't know what it was about the Bronx that when you went there, it was you had the guys from New York out there, and they were trying to kill you when you fight.
But again, was I in those tournaments?
I maybe won.
Yeah, and if it was one, it wasn't that same atmosphere.
Yeah, it was
the underground tournaments, which I love underground tournaments. That's where I brought up in. Had a different smell to it. It smelled like Tiger Bomb. The whole atmosphere was like gangs versus gangs, and I love those places. But you do have to watch your back, because things might happen.
I told you this story, a while ago. I remember a guy taking grand championship in a Bronx tournament, and he was boasting. His students were happy. He got out in the parking lot, and the guy he beat with grand beat him up for real in the parking lot, like a real fight. Trophy was broken, and I remember my father saying, if you win, you grab your stuff, you shake hands, you get in the car, and you leave. Don't go jumping up. And
George Masvidal with Kimbo Slice fights. Roll in, knock him out, and get out, because that's what's going to happen. Listen, I've been threatened many a times by someone in the crowd, talk about, shoot me, and so on and so forth. So yes, these atmospheres, you got to know where you're going, but let's keep it real. If you're in the projects right now, and it's somebody else's projects, and you go there dropping off some girl, they might be a little pissed off, right? So you're coming from New Jersey to the Bronx to take their trophy, or you're going from the Bronx or New York, let's say, to New Jersey to get the trophy, or you're going from the Bronx to Brooklyn. So it's all territorial, and they're all type A personalities. But how was I able to pull it off? I use comedy, and I also use what would be techniques. And they were like, I'm not sure. And then also at times I also had an army, but it wasn't like we were a bunch of thugs. So my point is that when you got professionals, they act different. I bet you the majority of the tournament you talk about, they were giving away no money.
Oh,
the money tournaments are professional. If amateurs give no money, professionals give money. So a hobby is when you have to pay. So we pay, but we invest. If I can win $500,000, $300,000, $200 somewhere, isn't that a different game? So a lot of people don't realize we didn't go to those tournaments because we didn't need no trophies. Now, I would still fight any week because I just like to fight, you know, because I always believe that, you know, I feel like let's give the little guy a chance. You know what I'm saying? But other
Yeah.
people who were right was like, why even bother? Why put yourself in a position where they could target you? I'm saying because I want to keep myself sharp, but I'm not like the rest of the people. How many of the people that you know that are my peers that right now are the same weight they were when they were in the best shape of their life? I
Not
might
many.
be one of the few, and I don't mean just weight or the ability. I think I still put pictures of me doing just about anything I used to do.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's
it seems
different
to be.
standards is my point.
Well, it seems to be that as guys went up ranks, his stomach got bigger, and
And we
I,
laughed at that. And then I became that person. When my stomach was big and I was 248 pounds, and I'm not happy because I'm working out 3 times a day, I was using the wrong strategy. And eventually I figured it out. But my goal is always to have fast feet forever, man. It's about that focus, right? That
yeah.
food, that fitness. And people ask, what's the other thing? Well, I'll lean back, baby. Lean back. I'm pretty well known for that too. And I teach very simple. But most people don't teach how I teach because they teach the way they were taught. So should I really teach someone how to do something that was not good, like the split? Why should I teach someone how to do the split if I never had the split?
Yeah, you're
Or why
right.
should I teach someone how to do something that caused an injury in the shoulder, in the hip, in the knee, in the back? Why should I follow someone's diet that leads to diabetes, heart disease, etc., just because it's part of culture? So not everyone can do that. But I'm that type of person who's always been able to follow the people who've been there, done that, and not listen to the majority, which is the ones that never did, and also always giving me advice.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it seems to be that you know, a lot of the that old, some of the old school mindsets.
Hey, wait, wait. So
That
let me just stop you for a second. Do you believe the best is yet to come?
yes,
Have you noticed? Have you been noticing how people are responding to some of the historical artifacts of blitzing and what have you that I've been sharing and giving props?
yeah. I think a lot of that comes from um, almost the same feeling of when you hear a song that brings you back to a good time.
Right.
When somebody looks and goes, "Man,
Nostalgia.
that's what I'm talking about,"
That was fun.
because
Watch me now. Feel
because
the
because
groove.
because and it's not the dog, because some people say the same thing when it comes down to hip hop and stuff like that too, where they say, don't dog the new hip hop artists or new rap artists, don't dog them because they are, they do things differently, and our parents talked about our
Right.
music and what
Right.
have you. But when
Yeah.
even when in competition, whether I see it online or I see in person, it's just not my feel. It's not
All right.
my
So
feel.
let me ask you a question again. When I talk about if they're doing sport karate, that means we must have been doing something different. And I call that sniper fighting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Sniper forms too. Because what they've done to forms is even worse than what they've done to fighting, in my belief. So my question is, and this is my statement that I believe is to be a fact. I might be wrong. I started doing these historical videos. And yesterday I did one called, Ladies Night, giving props to some of the ladies. And I gave Cynthia Rothrock some props along with my student Nicole Quest, the queen, as we call her. And she's in a totally awesome photo in the bottom. And I did that because I was depressed. 5 of my friends died in the week, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. This is bugging me out. And I can tour them. I was trying to tell them about nutrition. And I've been big on nutrition for many years. So I started doing, on the third day of me laying in bed, my mother came into the room like, are you okay? Should I have to call the doctor? Because I slept for 2 days out of being depressed. And some of it had to do with finances on top of that. But so when I started paying homage to these people, I started getting feedback from them in appreciation. I'm like, wait a second. People that you might have think were not alive. And they were giving me feedback, which feedback is fuel. So I did another one and then another one. And all of a sudden I started noticing a friend of mine started posting historical photos I never saw. And I was like, oh my God. It's Juggernaut Andre Richardson. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So that movement already started moving. And I started working on some logos and things. And I said, you know what? The only reason why martial arts or hip hop or anything happens is because there's not a gatekeeper. So I started the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers are the ones who are going to know the history. The gatekeepers are the ones that are going to know not to do things differently. A lot of people didn't know that slapping someone to the shoulder with open hand was wrong because of this. I never said this, but you hear this all the time. Oh, that's just a game of tag. A game of tag, you run around like this. You're it, I'm not it. You're it, I'm not it. Right? No, it's sparring. And I can still win under the game of tag rules, and I still tag them. I get the ball inside the hoop. However, there's no honor and respect. Why would I make believe I scored on you? And when I saw this happening in tournaments, even the traditional guys, the hardcore guys, they lied. They got hit here. No, hit me here. And I'm like, I lost respect for these people because they lost respect for themselves. Why would you lie? It should be more like this. Time out. You got me. Sorry they didn't give you the point. I've done that because it's the right thing to do. So going back to values cannot be wrong. So that's my goal. That's my belief. And I think there's enough people right now that are aware of it. They join in the group every day. And I say that it's us, one. And 1 + 1 could be 2. That's a peace sign. Or 1 + 1 could be 11. That's synergy. If you got people of similar mind, creating a greater third mind, then you can move mountains. Because it doesn't take that many people to knock somebody out. You take those 5 people plus the sniper, they can take out 100 or 200, 300, 400 people. They can get it to places that nobody else can. Like in the movie 300. So all we need is 300 martial arts gatekeepers worldwide. And trust me, it'll look like what your father still has in tournaments to a certain extent, but a lot of techniques, you know. And it'll also look like yesteryear with the quality of the technique.
Yeah.
And I think that we can pull that off. And there's another thing too. People say, well, the reason they don't allow that is because of the insurance. And I say, well, the traditional guys never wore headgears ever to this very day. The WKF doesn't have headgear. Then why do we have to if we have insurance? Oh, they say, well, because everyone's doing, MMA took our audience. Those people weren't ever watching our karate tournaments. As a matter of fact, there's nobody even coming. Besides, if you take spectators and you eliminate family and friends, who's there? Nobody, right? So it's not spectators, it's the booster club. It's dance moms. So I believe the best is yet to come because I'm gonna share the information for people.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get together sometime this week. Get a set, more conversations. I got to be at work in about 12 minutes, but we'll definitely get together. Keep yourself, of course, safe, man, out there in the hood, and I'm gonna get with you regarding that product because I got to do something different. I got to talk to you. I'll talk to you off record about some health stuff with Snap because I want to go and get a whole workup to make sure everything's working.
In other words, you believe the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
And now you have to take action towards it. Man,
yes.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
And not only do I have a plan, then of course a success coach.
That's it. Guys, listen. The reason why we're having this conversation, me personally, and I respect not just this guy, but I love the family. And what else can I say? You see that there's been photos with all of us together, and people think, "Are you guys related?"
People have asked that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get together and stuff. I'll talk to you very soon.
AB.
I see ya. Peace out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Pleasure.